This is the perfect guitar rig, at least for me and for what I do. Let's get into it. My name's Isaac Black. I'm a professional musician. I've been playing guitar for almost 10 years, and I play paid shows regularly, and this is some of the stuff I use when I go out and I play with a band. So here's my rig in all of its glory. We're going to talk about the Princeton Reverb first. So the Princeton Reverb, I usually run it at kind of a light edge of breakup sounds just to get some clean sounds, and then I use pedals to give it some extra distortion. It has tremolo, which is really nice because that's one less modulation pedal I have to have, and it also has built-in reverb, spring reverb, really great. But that's kind of how I run my amp, and this is just a great little combo amp. It works for a ton of live gigs, and then I have a 4x12 cab if I need extra volume, or the venue can almost always mic it. Anyway, the first thing my guitar hits is that little Fuzz Face Mini. It's a germanium fuzz, pretty mild compared to some of the silicone fuzzes and some other fuzzes. Like that gets crazy. That gets really crazy, the Rat King right there. But that Fuzz Face is just a really good overall fuzz that can do a lot of different sounds. That goes into the Morning Glory Clean, which is a new overdrive pedal. I've actually used a bunch of different overdrives and fuzzes, and this is kind of the setup that I ended on, just because I can run my amp pretty clean, and then if I turn my guitar volume up to 10, I can get kind of a very light overdrive sound. I click on that, and it gives it just a extra nice boost and some fatness and some warmth. And it overdrives a little bit more, gives a little more saturation. And then if I really need a good lead or solo tone, I can click on that, and that gives me my Eric Johnson type sound or my Jimi Hendrix type sound or whatever you want, right? Then into the Crybaby Wah. Nothing fancy here. I mean, they're classic. They work. They just do a thing, and I mean, there's a ton of different wahs, and people have complaints about this one, but I never have. Then into my Fulltone MDV3 Univibe. These are hard to find. These are really hard to find these days, but they're great. I don't think they make this exact casing anymore. I think they make it in a different casing, or maybe I'm wrong. But between this has Univibe and vibrato, and between this and the trem on my amp, I get pretty much all the modulation sounds that I need. So I can do a bunch of different modulation sounds with only one pedal and my amp, which is awesome. That goes into the Carbon Copy Mini. These are really good. I had to have it repaired, just because it had some problems with the regen, but it's a great pedal. It does a lot of different delay sounds, and I've used like the same thing with the overdrive. I've used 4 or 5 different delay pedals, and this is the one that just I always go back to. Then into a tuning pedal, nothing fancy. This is a really cheap tuning pedal. I think I got it for like 30 or 40 bucks, but it works. It gets the job done. It stays in tune, and yeah, it also cuts the signal for if I need to just mute my guitar. That goes into the little black buffer, which is on the underside. I've done a video about this. I've talked about it. If you don't have a buffer, you might need a buffer, but this is just always on. It keeps my signal consistent, which is great. Then this is my power supply. One thing that's important with the power supply, you can actually run a sag circuit on those last 2 inputs or outputs, and I have the sag circuit running on the Fuzz Face. So instead of running at 9 volts, it's running at 4 volts, which just kind of runs it a little more biased. It basically makes it kind of gatey and cuts down a little bit on that kind of edge, if you know what I mean. I won't say always, because there are pedals that I've sold. There's a bunch that I've actually sold, but recently I've started saving pedals that I don't use. So like that one I got, and I had it on my board for a while, and I liked it. It actually replaced both of those 2 pedals, because it does a kind of distortion. You can basically stack distortions with it. It's 2 rats in a box with a feedback loop in it. Really, really cool pedal. They're hard to find, but it just wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Then the mirror image delay, I ran that for a while this was being fixed, and this is actually, I can't recommend that mirror image delay enough. They're super, super cheap, and they work really well. If you want one delay pedal that can do a bunch of different sounds, use that. I just use this because it's a little bit simpler, and I get better sounds out of it, but the mirror image is really great for a first-time delay. Then the Joyo Voodoo Octave, people have mixed feelings about these. Like I said, they're super cheap, and they're great to use. It doesn't stay on my board all the time because I just get better sounds out of this. I get better tones, but it has been used a lot. I've used it at a lot of shows. It's really cool for a really psychedelic fuzz. That goes into the amp. Sometimes I run that through a 4x12 cab, like I said, or sometimes I mic it. But yeah, that's the rig in all its glory. This is a long video, but hope you guys liked it.